Hi, it was muted. You're muted.
Hi,
Now I hear you.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? How's now?
Can't
No?
hear you.
Still no? No? That's weird. Huh.
You're not muted.
No, I know.
Maybe sound. Here we go again.
Yeah, I'm not muted. Any good now?
You want to log out and log in?
Yeah.
Hi, Jen, unmute.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can't hear you guys, so it's me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was me before Bob logged off.
How are you feeling?
There he is. Bob, it was me.
No,
I can't hear you.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. Good, good, good.
Oh.
Hi there.
Hi, Caroline.
Oliver is at my feet.
That's what I was hearing before.
Is that what you heard before?
Was he going,
He might have, yeah.
which room are you in now?
Oh, this is the room upstairs. Let me see. Oliver, you going to show off?
Oh.
Oh, hi, buddy. Who's that? Who's looking at you?
He's cute.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm
Hi,
doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing okay.
Good.
Lori, I'm envious of your earbuds.
Oh, I just learned how to use them last week. They usually fall.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I see 7 o'clock on the timer, and I'd like to call the May Board of Finance meeting to order. As a reminder, this meeting is held via Zoom, and it is also being recorded. And in the event that you have a level of discomfort with anything being recorded, just a reminder that you'd have to just leave the meeting or find yourself being able to realize that everything that's being said will be known and is also going to be found on the website. So what I would do is I'd like to call to order the meeting and take the roll call. And I'm looking as I see from members of the Board of Finance that are here. I have Lori Tuttle, Nancy Cuomo, Chuck Stengel, Carolyn Mormile, and we have our Finance Director, Beth Moncada. Anyone else, if you wouldn't mind, if you are not currently muted now, if you are on a telephone, what you would do is dial *6. And if you are on your computer, you can just mute yourself using the icon that's to the right. So the first thing that we have on the agenda is the item which is the Board of Finance Chairman Update Report. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to report to you a couple different things. The first one is that I had the opportunity to listen to the minutes from the April 15th meeting for the compensation review. And what happened?
Rob, I'm so sorry. You're
Yeah.
you're cutting out a little bit. I'm not sure if someone is not muted or something
Oh,
is
okay.
happening.
Okay, I'll tell you right now who's not muted that I see. I see Rick is not muted. I see Chuck is not muted. I see Nancy, you are not muted.
Okay, so let me mute myself and let's see. Hopefully that'll help.
And now the telephone number 860-301-1698 just became unmuted. So the only person that is still not muted is Rick.
His phone is muted, but his computer's not, but he doesn't
Computer.
have a microphone.
Okay. All right, so then I guess, is that better now?
It's better. Yep, I'm
Okay.
muting myself again.
Okay. So I'll just start over again. So we're going to go to item number 2, which is the Board of Finance Chairman Update Report. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to report on the fact that I had the opportunity to listen to the minutes from the Compensation Review Board that took place on April 15th. And what ended up happening is there was some information given by a couple members of the board that had to do with some salary information that they said the Board of Finance had taken as far as the action from our meeting from April. But in addition, they had mentioned the fact that there really wasn't a direct direction given to them. So as a result, what ended up happening is I got a follow-up email from the chair of their board, Christina, on April 22nd. And we ended up actually having a really great conversation. And what happened is we had a meeting of the minds and talked about essentially the board, what our expectations were, the sort of ways that we could work together, the way that we could understand the charter together as far as what their direction was, and a way that our boards could work better together and learn from each other. So I just wanted to report the fact that it was a really great meeting of the minds, and it was a really great way for all of us to understand. Christina was very well spoken, understood a lot of things, understood that there might have been maybe some misunderstandings that were brought about that we can definitely clear up. However, what ended up happening is that I was also able to attend the recent meeting, which took place on May 13th. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring up the fact that there was some discussion at the end of the meeting that took place. And specifically, it was in relation to the Board of Finance and also the duties of the finance director. The comment that was made was that based upon job functions of the finance director herself, that is as if she was like having a lobbyist on our board. And so while I thought that we really had made some strides and were doing well, I found that I thought that was really kind of an inappropriate statement. And it was in relation to the fact that because the finance director is writing motions and making recommendations for transfers within funds for the Board of Finance, that it's as if she's acting in this capacity. So what I decided to do was I decided to step back and do some research, and I contacted an agency. It's known as the Connecticut Government Finance Officers Association of Connecticut. And I was able to have some conversation, just general conversation from my understanding about what this really meant. And I was able to have general conversation with 5 members of the board as to what really is, the direction that we should take as far as our finance director is concerned. And then what I ended up doing is I got the information that it actually is very commonplace, and it's something that happens within all of their boards, and it's something that really their boards are relying upon their advice and their profession for. So then the other thing that I found is, if you just give me a minute, there is the job description for the Town of Durham Finance Director that came out on September 26th of 2016. And if you look at page 3, it says that it acts as a professional finance advisor to the Board of Finance to include preparation of suggested motions on budget transfers and determining the fiscal impact of salary and contract decisions. So I guess what I'm confused about is that this is sort of the 3rd time now that the Board of Finance have sort of gotten brought up in a negative fashion by a leader of the community for essentially doing what their job duties are. And I just wanted to make sure that, from what I understand, this is the direction that we're supposed to be going. It's what's expected of the position itself. And I think that the information that we get from our finance director is really the reason that they're in that capacity, because they work with the accounts every day. So I was a little dismayed by what happened. However, maybe if the Board of Finance members would like to make a comment. Apparently there was different ways that they did things years ago. However, I think I feel fairly comfortable with the way that we've done things now. I think we're doing them the right way. And I just want to make sure that, if in fact that's the route that we're supposed to be going, that's the reason that we do it. Other than that, if you'd like to make a comment, as I said, I do have one more item to bring up as well.
I'm a little disappointed in the use of the term lobbyist for, it almost sounds like there's something nefarious going on, and we're just trying to do our job and using Beth's guidance whenever needed. I've never felt pressured by any discussion that we've ever had, for any motion that we've ever had to make. Everything's always been professional. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nancy, you were going to say something?
You were very careful in your words as to what the negative comment was. Can you just tell me, can you just state that again?
Sure.
I'm not privy. I did not listen into any of these messages, and I just want to make sure that I understood correctly what you said. And if you could just repeat that part of your statement.
Yes. What was said was that essentially, by our finance director following through with the expectations of her position as written in her job description, that she's acting like a lobbyist on our board.
For us, the board members, she's acting as a lobbyist for us.
As far as
for whom?
Well, you know what? You can infer from that whatever you'd like. However,
Okay.
it was brought up at a meeting, for a board of directors that has no purview whatsoever over the Board of Finance. It was brought up in a public meeting. It's available now on Zoom for other people to
Okay.
see. And again, I think that, you know, everyone keeps saying that we want to work together to try to make things work well. But again, the Board of Finance and either its employees or its members have been negatively brought up again, essentially for doing their job and doing the correct thing. And I just find it extremely inappropriate that that happened.
Okay, so I will listen in. And you said that was on the 4/22 meeting or the May 13th meeting?
That was at the meeting that happened on 5/13.
5/13. Okay, very good. Thank
So,
you.
Bob, would you mind repeating the phrase of the finance director's salary, job description having to do with salaries?
I will read it again. Yes, let me find the, so the job description as was posted by Randy Frank Consulting LLC on September 26th of 2016. Page 3 says that the finance director acts as the professional finance advisor to the Board of Finance to include preparation of suggested motions on budget transfers and determining the fiscal impact of salary and contract decisions.
So I have seen that activity by the finance director happen, providing professional guidance to us when we were doing contract negotiations with the union. She calculated the impacts of that contract and gave us explicit direction as to whether we could afford that or not. Also, in our budget preparations every year, as we go through several draft iterations of what becomes the budget sheet, she produces documents that show salaries, and we get to see the impact. So I believe that those functions that you've read are being performed by the finance director, exactly as read.
I want to chime in. This is professional advice that we rely on, and it's that sort of thing where, you know, that seems to be hard for people to digest, but our finance director speaks in facts. This is what it will cost. This is what, you know, what the impact is. It's a numbers declaration. It's not any sort of opinion or lobbying, and has been scrupulous about making sure that, you know, we are clear that the decision is ours and these are the facts to the best of her knowledge. And this, boy, you go away for 2 weeks and, you know, I miss all sorts of stuff. So yeah.
Thank Molly, that's good actually, because that's pretty much what I was just going to say is that, no, you did, that was perfect. So I concur with what everybody has said, but what Molly said was pretty much what I was going to say is that, you know, everything she's providing us is factual the same way it would be for any other account that we look at in the budget.
I agree. And again, just to reiterate the fact that the Government Finance Officers Association of Connecticut has many members, and essentially the function that is being done is similar to many of the members, or at least all of the ones that I spoke to. So it's not just unique to Durham as well. So once again, Beth, thank you for doing your job the proper way. And I apologize that someone has decided to make a statement as they have. The other item I wanted to bring up is that I had the ability last night, as many of you did as well, to attend the Board of Selectmen's meeting. And what ended up happening is the board decided to follow through with the executive order, which means that the board gave the direction to the Board of Finance in order to set the mill rate. And from what we had discussed at our last meeting, we will not get the Board of Education final vote in until May 27th. And then we do have our meeting set up for May 28th. I wanted to just take the time once again to thank everyone for all of the hard work that you did. If you were able to hear the conversation that did happen last night, I think that the theme of the meeting was that we were very transparent. I thought that was a very nice comment. I thought that we actually did a very good job. And I just would like to say I'm glad that we were transparent. The next item on the agenda is public comment. And so what I would do is I would invite anyone that would like to speak to unmute yourself either on the computer or on the phone. And what we'll do is I'll try to either call you out if I can see you by name or phone number. And what we'll do is we'll start with the first person who looked like they unmuted themselves. I see a George.
Hello, everybody. This is George Eames. What Bob was explaining with the compensation committee meeting, I just want you to know that I am the evildoer. It was my comment, and it completely was just taken out of context. What we were talking about was job descriptions and job descriptions per the CCM descriptions, trying to get some kind of a basis for putting salary structures together. And my comment was that there's no pure job description in the town. If you look at, say, the role of a tax collector, in Durham, the tax collector also has the position of doing passports and processings, and that's not a normal description of a tax collector. And then I'd mentioned the finance director, and I said that that job description has also changed, or it was different than from when I was chairman of the Board of Finance for 10 years. And it is getting to the fact that some of these descriptions change, and I'm not quite sure how they're worded. But my point was not derogatory toward the Board of Finance, which I did chair and was a member of for many years, nor Beth Moncada. I simply was saying that the Board of Finance by charter is a group that cannot by charter accept salary. And if you take a description too far and you're not just making motions or writing motions before you even had a discussion, you have to be careful that you can take it too far because you don't want a lobbyist on the board. I didn't claim you had one. I said sometimes these descriptions, and if you're talking about compensation, I'm not sure who the people are that are actually writing these job descriptions. So if you're taking a base from a CCM perspective, some things change over time. The town is very fluid. The assistant town clerk is also doing IT. That changed over the years. A lot of processes are coming into the town because of technology, because of constant change. So it's really hard to take a generic job description. But some of these changes, the question was, who's the supervisor? Who's responsible for whom? Who's the manager of any given department or a department head? And again, I'm not sure if they're doing the changes to the description, but they're not necessarily doing the salary to go along with it. But the point about the finance manager was not me being a real jerk. It was just saying that you have to be careful based on charter that you don't take these descriptions too far. So it's not a question of, to me, the compensation committee just looking at compensation, all-in compensation, salary plus benefits, but also how are these descriptions being assimilated And do they correlate with charter? Because if Mr. Frank came in years ago and put something out there that is contradictory to how we run the town, we want to flag that and say, you know, we really shouldn't go that far with this job description. And that was the only point that I was trying to make.
Is there any other public comment?
Bob,
Yes.
I just like to ask George a question, if I may. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
George, I understood your explanation. I think you mentioned something about the motions being written. Can you state that again?
When I looked at the finance director's job description, one of the things that kind of stood out at me, which to me, I mean, I have a difference of opinion with your chairman, but if you take, I mean, a board of finance should be totally independent. Now, I understand that you have a finance director. I understand that completely, but you want to be careful, in my opinion, again, having done what all you guys do before, of having the wording done or a motion prepared before you actually discuss an item, to me, is putting the cart in front of the horse. So in her job description, or the finance director's job, not necessarily Beth's, I think it predates Beth, and it wasn't an issue toward her. It says that the finance director shall make motions for transfer for the Board of Finance. And my opinion, my personal opinion, is that is on shaky ground. If you haven't had an issue come before you yet, how can someone write a motion on how to transfer or how to approve it before you've discussed it? So those kind of job descriptions, to me, are things that I think some professional person who understands the charter should reconsider and make sure that we're not on that shaky ground of, you know, do you have a lobbyist on, or do you have paid staff? How does that work? And if I use the word lobbyist, I apologize, but it's a perception that you want to avoid. I'm not saying you do, but I'm saying some of those descriptions, if they're done without oversight, someone is changing those descriptions constantly, is someone involved making sure they are appropriate to what you guys want to do? So to me, if I'm on the Board of Finance, I want to make sure that it's worded properly. So I think you should have a say in it. I think compensation should. I think there should be more oversight to how some of these descriptions occur.
Thank you.
And I would just like to say that in the event that anyone has a problem or an issue with the functions of the Board of Finance, it probably should be brought to the Board of Finance and not another board. Is there any other public comment?
Yes, I'd like to say something on this general subject, and that's that I think it's this board has been particularly good, and through the years, but this board has been good at listening to your professional experts. Later in this meeting, we're going to talk about the tax suspense list. There's no realistic way that anyone could expect Lori Tuttle to know which businesses we should suspend from 2015. You have to have somebody that is doing it on a professional, regular, consistent basis. And it's the same thing with, you guys can make determinations. The reason you have a finance director write the motions is so that you can have the correct GL account numbers in there, because you might call it the fire company instead of the fire department, and that's not what the line item is. And then later, after you make that motion, there may be a similar, you may use the wrong number and you're buying tires instead of tools. So that's really where that comes from, is the professional full-time nature of the job. We can't expect you guys to know what each GL account is, you guys do have full authority to direct and craft how much money will be there and what's going to happen and consider the big picture. But Beth has to move the money to the right place or pay the money out of the right place. And again, it's not Beth, it's the finance director, whoever. I think a volunteer board is wise to use your professional support fully. That's all.
Is there any other public comment? Rick, if you have your phone muted, you just need to do *6 so we can hear you. *6, you're muted.
Can you hear me now, Bob?
We can hear you now, yes.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. And Martin, thank you for your comments earlier about my computer skills. Not my skills, but my joining the meeting. I would just like to say at this time I support George Azim's comments, and I will go back on *6.
Is there any other public comment? Okay, I don't think I see anyone else with a raised hand or looking to unmute, so I think we can move forward. So we have item 4, which is the approval of the meeting minutes. However, there is a date that is not included on this. And so my question is, Beth, we'll need to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Yes,
Or
and
is it
add
too late?
May 11th, 2020 meeting minutes for approval.
Okay. So then I will now then make a motion to amend the agenda to add to item 4, the minutes from the 5/11 meeting. I need a second.
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank-
My finger wasn't fast enough to unmute.
Thank you.
I'll leave it unmuted, and if anybody gets feedback, I will mute again.
Okay. So then those in favor of the amendment would say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, the motion passes. So what we'll do now is go through the approval of the meeting minutes. We have the meeting minutes from January 21 of 2020. Motion to accept them as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Then have the minutes from the April 21 regular meeting. A motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor would say aye.
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 We then have the minutes from the special Board of Finance meeting from April 27th. Motion to approve them as presented.
27. So moved.
Okay, second would be,
Second,
is there any discussion? All in favor would say aye.
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 We then have the Board of Finance annual budget hearing from Monday, May 11th. A motion to accept the minutes and the Zoom recording link as well. And the reason I say that is that the full presentation clearly is not written out, but is available on Zoom. So a motion to accept the annual budget hearing from May 11, 2020, Zoom link, as well as minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second,
I have a correction.
Okay, the
Wasn't
discussion.
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was not there on the 11th. So you need to take me off.
oh, okay.
It's okay, no. It's,
All right, so then what we'll do is accept any other discussion about the minutes. Then all in favor of accepting the minutes as amended would say aye.
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 Okay.
and I'm abstaining because I
Yeah.
wasn't there.
And no other, yeah, I don't see. Okay, everyone else aye. So then the last set of minutes we have is from May 14th of 2020, the special budget hearing, I'm sorry, the special budget meeting. And we would have a motion to accept them as presented.
So moved.
Oh, second.
Is there any discussion?
I went, and these were not on the website.
Right,
Yeah.
there was an error. It said that there was, was it this one, Beth? I'm not sure. I did see something where the minutes were not there due to error.
they will be posted by tomorrow. It was just a fluke.
So I move we table this. I can't make the motion. That's right.
Why would you table them?
Well, I didn't read them. I was looking for them. And I was-
Oh, that's a whole different story then. If you didn't read them, then,
But they are, they're written in full. They were sent on email and I think they're on the website. So I think that it would be in order to still accept them. So what we'll do is we have any other discussion on these? Then all in favor of accepting them as presented would say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I will abstain.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't there.
So
Abstain, please.
3 ayes and 3 abstentions.
3 abstentions, correct? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, item number 5. We have an invoice from Jennifer Keogh. This is a total of $352.50. It is for the recording secretary services from the April 21, April 27, May 11, and May 14, 2020 meetings. A motion to accept the invoice and pay it as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any other discussion? All in favor would say aye.
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 Thank you. Item number 6 are the monthly agency reports.
This is the raft of paper.
I have here
Ambulance.
from the Durham Volunteer Ambulance Corps. It looks like they have the
Ambulance.
DVAC monthly detailed balance sheet.
Ambulance.
They
Ambulance.
have DVAC past call.
Yes,
They have a closing balance of, it looks like the accounts receivable information. They have the fiscal summary, 7/1/2019 through April 30 of 2020. I see, it looks like detail of deposits from Excel spreadsheet. This looks like the insurance payments.
There's a lot of noise.
Sorry.
Oh, Molly, maybe if you could mute. Thanks. Just for clarification on that, is that correct?
I couldn't hear you, Bob. What did you say last?
There's a spreadsheet that has information for April. It looks like it's the insurance payments that have come in, correct?
Give me the name of the PDF. Is it,
It's
what's,
the Durham Volunteer Ambulance.
no, the PDF that Beth sent. I didn't print them out, so you have to give me the PDF name.
Well, it was all sort of in a bundle. I think what I just wanted to do, just for the fact that this is being recorded, I wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that people knew that what I'm seeing here is that it looks like the insurance reimbursements for April.
I think that's the one, that's the one that's titled financial summary.
No, it's actually just one sheet. It's just a spreadsheet. And it says April 2020. It says deposits. And it's got Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna. I mean, there isn't a title of the document itself, but I'm just deriving from it that it's the insurance payments. Does anybody see it, Ben?
No. I'm looking at Beth's email that was sent to me at 12:54 today. I don't see it in those I got 12 attachments. I don't see them in those 12 attachments. Should I be looking for a different email?
No, I'm in that same email. It's the DVAC May 2020 PDF, but there's like, I don't know, 12 or some odd pages within it.
So did you find it, Beth?
Are you looking at the
I mean,
aged accounts receivable, Bob? Put it up to your screen.
I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, can you put it up on the screen?
That's not it.
So Beth, when did you send this?
It's in the file called DVAC May 2020. Everything came today, and it's on page 6.
DVAC
May
2020.
2020,
Yep, on
and it's on page 6.
The PDF is 15 pages long, so, you know.
Right. You go to
So-
page 6.
What time did you send it, Beth?
Today in the middle of the day.
At 12:56, I got one from you called DVAC call data.
It was before that.
I don't have another one from her today.
12:09 p.m.
You do, but it's okay.
I do.
It has all the files on it for tonight's meeting, unless you don't have anything.
No,
You might have to scroll down on the top a little bit, Chuck, where there's a lot of files attached to that email.
Okay, hold on a minute.
And the total, somebody enter it. I see 2 totals on here. Let's see. How about the last total on the left-hand side? 17,741.
That's it. That's it.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, you're right, Bob. Those are
All I want to know is what it is. That's all.
Yeah.
Those are EFT payments.
Okay.
He's showing you the deposits, the EFTs, and then the refunds.
Okay. All right. So then I just wanted to make sure that was correct. And then we have the aged accounts receivable, the
Mhm.
report April 30 through 5/3.
Hold on, Bob. Let me make sure
He's following right after that one, Nancy. He's in
Okay.
order now.
Yeah, I was not able to print them. I was not able to print these, so I have to click around.
Okay. And again, I think we just want to make sure that we know we have them on file. That's all. So this is the through date of April 30th. So they sent us their accounts receivable. And then I do see the next item is the schedule. And I have April. And then it looks like the employees as well as the calls that were taken by Vintech. I have the May schedule. I have a Income and expense, July 1, 2019 through May 14, 2020.
I hear background noise again.
And I have the P&L that looks like it's just for so far the first 14 days of May.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have. We should have a year-to-date P&L though.
Yeah, I only have May.
Yeah, yes, that's all we have. It's not what we should
Okay.
have, but it's what we have.
Okay. And then we have the last item is the call report for the data for April of 2020.
Yeah. Are
Okay.
we gonna have time to discuss all of these?
Well, I've gone through all of them now, so we know what we have on file and what's been received. So absolutely, go right ahead.
Chuck, I needed your help with that call. Last time you were very helpful in helping me understand and decipher what that call log means. Did you have a chance to take a look at it?
Are you talking about the call data?
I'm talking about, I don't know where I am here. Hold on. It's on page 2. It says DVAC past calls. And it's got a grid and it's showing overnight, day. Then it has, let me give you the
Yeah, so you're looking at
Let me give
April,
you-
right? There were 3 of them.
DVAC May 2020 PDF. I'm looking at that.
Right.
Page 1.
And on that
Page
sheet, it
2.
says
Page
April.
2.
Yep, April 20th, you're looking in that column. There's 3 of them. There was 2
On page-
overnight and 1 evening.
On
They had
page
3
2, it says it starts off with the date on the left, October 19th.
Right, go down to April
That's the
20.
page I'm looking.
Right, go down to April 20.
Yep.
And they said they
Yep.
only had 3 past calls.
So month
Okay.
by month, Nancy,
Right.
this is the number of
Yeah.
past calls that they've had in each month. October, November, December through April, roughly in the middle of the
Okay.
month. Okay? And you can see that the
But
overnights,
go ahead.
so the overnights have been relatively good in terms of having few past calls. The daytime is when they've
Right.
been suffering, and in the evening, they've had a few as well. April looks to be much better than March.
What does
April
HAS
looks to
mean?
be-
Excuse me?
What does HAS mean?
HAS.
Okay, so that's the next grid. That's the next grid down.
Yeah, it means
It's
Hunter
a
Ambulance
bit-
Service.
Oh, they picked it up. They picked it up? I got it. And then North Branford and then Hunters. Okay.
So help me understand, guys. So if I look at the first grid, it says October 19th, it says 10 calls were passed. And then if I look at the second grid, this should be the 10 calls. 5, 6, 7, 8. How come it's more?
It's only 3.
Right, what is the second grid telling me?
This is telling you who picked them
No,
up.
below that. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I can't go. No, go up again. Yeah, what is that telling me?
Those are the 3 who picked up the 3 past calls from the top.
On October 19th?
No, it says April.
I'm looking at the one that says October 19th, Beth.
Oh, October. You want to know about October. I'm sorry. This one?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, all of those calls means that they passed all of those calls back in October. and then it's going forward, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So things are getting better, Chuck, as I read this. Am I reading this correctly?
Looks to be correctly. Yes.
I have a question about the last slide. Are the mutual aid coverage for hunters in Wallingford, are they in there as well? That we provide to them? No, this is just one way.
Yeah.
But I would like it to be known that we have been responding to Wallingford as well as covering for hunters on certain calls. So the numbers are a little bit skewed.
In what way, Caroline?
It doesn't show how we've helped others.
That is correct.
Oh, got it. Yep. And what does 14-4 on call mean and 14-4 OOS? Forgive me.
14-4 is the ambulance. So I don't know. 14-4 is what they call the ambulance.
OS is out of service, Nancy.
Yes, that's right.
The OOS means out of service.
Yes.
Okay.
It was out of service twice. If I
3
recall right. Yes.
Okay, and so we have the information all the way up to April 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference between March and April. I don't understand.
March was probably I'm just speculating, but we had a lot of COVID stuff go on.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That is correct. And we weren't necessarily prepared for it.
Okay.
All right.
And then that the closing balance, what is this telling us, Beth, please? Last page. I mean, after the page after the grids that we looked at.
Right, then page 4.
Yeah, that one right there. Yep. Page 1 of 1. Yep.
This is your accounts receivable. This is the paperwork that comes from shared response.
Okay.
So she's saying you had a previous accounts receivable balance of 56,000. And then you have charges in there. And then all these adjustments, I'm not, very knowledgeable of what these are.
Yeah.
And your accounts receivable change. And now your new balance forward.
And this new balance forward is as of 5/3/20, correct?
I would say as of 4/30.
Of 4/30, okay.
Yeah, she's got equal or greater of, and then less than or equal. So for the month of April.
Yeah, it's month of April.
So of the 56,000, can you go back to that again?
Sure.
How much did they actually collect?
19, well, of the 56, I don't know. That was the previous balance.
In this period, how much did they collect?
It looks like 19,254, right?
No, I think it's the some of these things are adjustments and whatnot. So
Right.
this is the total change. But if you look
Right.
at gross receipts, you'll see
That's
18,650.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it on there?
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm flipping around.
Where,
it's 18,000.
There
There it
you
is.
go. Yeah,
Right for the end. Yep, down at the bottom.
right
Yeah.
here.
Yep, right there.
Hold on a minute. I gotta pinch out my phone. Where, Beth? Put your cursor on it.
Right here.
Okay. So what's the 19,000 up top?
It's the monthly change in the balance. If you look, I'm going to try to just stop moving around, but I can't get it. It's
Yeah,
the
what's
beginning-
the, yeah, that's
beginning
the beginning
balance.
balance, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the 7,000? And then the 11,000, and then the 19,000.
Oh, they're charges. I'm not very, Caroline will probably know much more about this than I do. I don't know what any of this means. I know a
What
debit
is-
and a credit, but I don't.
Caroline, I'm asking the 7,000 and the 11,000, what is that doing to the balance? Is that subtracting from the 56 or is that adding to it?
No, it's adding to it.
Adding to it.
Yeah, it's adding to it. I didn't know that's what you were asking. I thought you wanted
Okay.
specific. You know, it's adding to it.
It's
And then-
adding to the 56, and then all the items below in the, you know, like the 887 is a deduction. Then we have the invoices, we have the money coming in, and then all of that other stuff is going out.
Mhm.
No insurance. What are gross receipts? 18,650.44.
Hey, Beth, can you just up in where it says 174% up in your ribbon at the top, can you just make that like 125?
Sorry.
Then we can, yeah, keep going till we can see
Can
the
you
beginning.
see it?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know. I don't understand this, I guess.
So the 56,000 at the top is your beginning balance. The 36,000 is your ending balance. The difference between those two numbers is the 19,577.
Okay.
So that's, and then all of the lines above that are what adds up to the 19,577.
I think if you go back to when Sandy Castelvetro came, Nancy, she did do a line by line on these. She did. I just don't have this documentation at home with me.
Yeah,
But she did run through and explain what they all were.
She did, and I remember I knew what it was then, but I'd have to go back and find my notes too.
So this is the closing balance as of April 30th.
Accounts receivable.
Yep.
So
Okay.
what I take from this sheet is after all of this billing, we make some adjustments downward for Medicaid. We make adjustments downward for Medicare, and we're making adjustments downward for no insurance.
Yeah. And the gross receipts, did I already ask what that was? I think I did.
You did.
Yep.
Paid bills with price here, February.
Okay, so I just had a little bit of clarification from Mike. There is a month or 2 months delay in payments, so in billing. So what we're seeing here is receipts from probably February. They bill once a month, and then there's a 30-day delay in those receipts. So,
and we had talked about wanting them to, move those get their billing cycles at a somewhat biweekly basis.
That is correct. And
no, not bi-weekly, bi-monthly.
No.
We wanted, we discussed sending out check billing twice a week.
No, get to submit their billing to Sandy at least bi-weekly. They're waiting a month.
Okay, okay.
I mean, we really would probably prefer that they do it every day,
Mhm.
Okay.
but that's not, I don't think that's a reality for them.
No, I wish.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I don't know how much we want to belabor this, but I figured out a few more of the numbers. Because that's just me. So the transaction type summary section, they really should have more information on here. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the first 6, 7 items add up to the 18,650.
Okay,
Then you take out the refund,
okay.
and that gives you the 17,741.
Mm-hmm.
So there really should be like a line under the 892. There should be a line under the 909.24 to show you your subtotals and your totals.
Oh, okay. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Is that you on your calculator, Laura?
It is.
Okay, good. Okay, keep going.
Oh.
While she's doing that, does anyone know exactly what system this is that they're using for the, I guess you call it truncation of the numbers?
Definitely coming out of shared response.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, this is coming from Sandy.
Oh, she's doing, okay. So this is probably her own.
It looks like it's, I don't know. I mean, she's using the greater than or equal, so it's some sort of report writer pulling the information from something.
Yep. What'd you come up with, Lori?
Oh, wow. This is really weird.
Confusing?
Yeah, so if you take, in that same section, if you take all of the numbers except for the 17,741, because
Yeah.
that's the subtotal of the 18,650 and the 909.
Okay.
So just ignore that 17,741 right now.
Okay.
All of the other numbers there add up to the 19,577.
Got it. Got it. Good. That makes sense.
I don't know what all that means, but. And I don't know what those top numbers are, the advanced life support. I don't know how that factors into any of this.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be the charges that we're putting out? 4 incidents of advanced life support and 12 incidents of basic life support.
Right, but I don't know how it gets into the beginning and ending balances. Like it's got to be like those 3 lines up there on the top don't factor into the beginning or ending balance or any of that transaction type summary that I can figure out at the moment.
So the item that I was questioning before, actually, that's just the detail of the 17,741.20 that's based on date and the insurance company that gave them the money, correct?
The other document was, yes.
Okay.
So I believe we have two charges. One charge is that they make calls, and it appears that they're trying to do that and are getting a little better, at least for the last month. And the second one is that they bill and get the billing out, and it looks like they're doing that as well.
I agree.
Yep.
What other questions do we have about this report?
That page?
Yeah, if there's anything else that you want to review.
So Beth, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sorry. Lori,
Yeah.
you know, I do admit that I did not have time to study this. But if you look at that 17741 number and just scroll down 2 more pages, there it is. Skip that, next one, there it is. That page there, go over to the left.
Right. So that's the amount, that's what Bob was saying. That's the amount of money that we took in.
Okay,
So those numbers will add up to the 18 on the other sheet, the 18,000 minus that 909 that's in that far right column there.
yep, okay, yep, it makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else on that?
Yeah, I believe that other number is just the billing number, and where they insert it in that sheet makes you want to try to include it, but it's something they're not going to actually get that money in for, until people pay that 19,254.19. That's just
okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
It's a little more informational than
Right.
something to use for a function in the calculation.
Right, giving you the idea that we did enough charges this month that we'll be able to cover these payments. We're basically bringing in and paying out similar amounts, but obviously you don't do it in the same month that the event happens.
Right,
Gotcha.
so the 19,254.95 is uncollected.
Gotcha. Yep, that sounds very reasonable. Yeah, so in that bottom section, so they didn't receive the copay, or they wrote off copays of $887. They invoiced people, or they got money in based on invoicing of $15,000. They received money on old invoices of $3,886. They did some Medicare adjustments. They wrote off some money with people with maybe no insurance. They took in some gross receipts of $18,000. Then they had refunds of $900 to take in the net of 17. I'm sorry, the 18 minus the 9 is 17, and then the whole thing is 19. That's just weird. Yeah, I'd have to dig out my notes to.
The invoice and the invoice prior period, I think, is reflective in the charges.
Oh.
It's off a little bit, but so they're taking the previous balance and they're working it back in, and they're taking out all their adjustments for the net change.
Yeah, no, that invoice line of 15,000 and the invoice prior periods of 3,000. Add those two together, you get the 19,254.95.
Right.
Huh.
So that's,
Wow. Yeah, this really could be set up
well,
a lot different.
I think that you just have to look at the transaction type summary. So yeah, I guess once you get used to looking at it, it's really a no-brainer, but
Yep.
just don't look at it enough.
Right.
No.
Huh. Okay.
Anything else
But
on
a
there?
I'm good.
Can we scroll down to the statement of financial income? Oh, I just lost it. Oh. The statement of financial income, same attachment. It's the last page or the second to last. Hold on. Yeah, it's right after the schedule. And it's July 1, 2019 through May, just lost it again, through May. And Chuck, did you get a chance, and Lori, did you guys get a chance to study that?
I did not know.
I did not either.
Okay. So my question is, for maybe the next meeting, you know, are these numbers looking to what we expected when we appropriated the money for this new budget?
They haven't changed their billing practice as of yet. We had asked them to bill sooner and to balance bill, and as far as I understand, that has not been put into place yet.
I know that it was voted at their board of directors meeting that they would be doing that.
Okay.
The last board of directors meeting that they had, they did vote to do it.
Okay. All right. What date? Do you remember when that was? April, May, or?
It was, I want to say, you know what? I don't have it in front of me right now.
Okay. All right. I was just curious how long ago, but that's okay.
But I believe that they were going to send out a pamphlet explaining the balance billing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
So if you guys are looking at that statement again, right? So we have Durham Fair numbers in there, 6,500. I saw the Durham Fair number somewhere else of 39,000. And we just found out that there is going to be no Durham Fair this year. So what does that mean for our current budget? That's before the voters. Well, no, it's not before the voters. It's before us.
It shouldn't mean anything at this point. Just that they won't have a line item. They'll have a 0 line item there this year.
Right, but I'm saying, what does that mean for their budget and our budget?
We don't budget that.
Well, we had to fund them. We had to fund them because they
We
were
don't
short.
fund that. We don't fund it.
Fund what, Beth?
We don't fund, what were you saying? Where do you see an expense?
I'm not talking about an expense.
Oh,
I'm talking about,
income or expense?
it looks to me that this is under income, right? It says billing
Oh, yeah,
129.
6,500, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
129, that to me is all income, correct? 139.
Yep.
640, 970, up until May 14th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a budget before the voters.
This
Right.
document doesn't come into play in the budget. So
Right,
any
but
monies any monies that the town provides is just reimbursing expenses that aren't on this statement.
Right, but what I'm saying, Lori, is when we came up with, I believe it was $88,000 to keep the ambulance afloat, correct?
Yeah, some number, right?
Right, yeah. In the ambulance income, there was fair parking. This number, 6,500, it looks, I don't know what it is, Durham Fair, but there's also another number out there of 39,000 for the parking, which they're not going to get.
Department.
That was the fire department.
Yeah, that's where I was getting confused.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay. Yes, okay, very good. Thank you, Beth. Thank you.
For clarification, the board meeting that took place for the ambulance was on March 16th.
March.
And
okay.
the motion was made by A. Myman and seconded by J. Stannard. It says DVAC will reluctantly go forward to look at the process of starting to balance bill. The motion was passed on a voice vote.
Thank you, Bob.
So they're doing what we asked them to do.
Well, they voted to
Well,
do it.
May.
Yes, right. Thank you, Lori.
Yes,
Any other
yes.
questions on this?
All set. No, I'm all set. I found the 38,905. Yes, that Durham Fair parking was for the fire. I apologize.
Okay, so then moving on, the other monthly report we have is the P&L, April 15th through through May 12, 2020 for DVFC. And we have a balance sheet as of May 12, 2020. What questions do you have on that?
So help me out, guys. So back to the Durham Fair parking now here, the 38,905, which is not going to be, what is the impact for Durham regarding this 38,905?
That money
It's
is
an impact for them.
deposited, that money is put towards their retirement account. So they just won't get any money put into that account this year.
So it will not impact Durham, the town of Durham, our
No.
budget?
No.
Any other questions on that report? Okay, then we can move forward. We'll move to item number 7. And this is the discussion regarding the microbridge loan program. So we received an email from Laura, and it says that she just got off a Middlesex County Revitalization Commission meeting. The city of Middletown is planning on using town funds to run a microbridge loan program for the businesses under 20 employees. It will be a loan of $10,000. We voted today to have it administered through MCRC with the assistance of city staff. There will be a nominal admin fee to MCRC. The Common Council will be voting on this tonight. So this is an email from May 4th. If this is something you think we should consider, I will give you the details of the program. This email is not intended to be deliberate. I am only asking if you would like me to bring you more information to consider. If you don't think this is a good, proper use of town funds, or we do not have enough funds to commit, I won't trouble you with the details. But if you think this is an appropriate and valuable way to use town funds, I'll send you details. Thank you for your guidance. So that was the communication I got regarding that.
I believe I responded to this email, and I believe a few others did as well.
Yes, I was just running through my emails trying to find it here.
Yeah, I have to go to a different account to look
Yeah.
at that.
So Bob, are you waiting for us to come out?
I am. I thought that Nancy had to pull it up.
No, I did respond to that email, trying
Oh,
to find
okay.
it. And I believe, Lori, you responded as well.
Yep.
And I'm trying to pull it up so I can read it. I cannot find it. Micro Bridge Program, here we go.
May 4th.
Okay, here was my response on May 4th at 4:33. I said, hello, Laura. The BOF did discuss this when we were evaluating the EDC proposal. As I stated then, I do not think this is proper use of taxpayer money. Of course, I am one of many, and I am always open to listening and evaluating new information. That was my response.
Anyone else want to talk or discuss this?
I had the same comment as Nancy, that we had discussed it and that we had the same concerns. If there is, if there's something specific that Laura wants us to look at that makes it look more like it's favorable, then that's okay, but I don't think it's a proper use of the town funds.
Okay. Any other discussion or comment about that program?
Do we know of a need in Durham? Is there, to say,
I don't
I'm like
Answer to that
really
question.
elsewhere.
Maybe-
Huh?
Does anyone know the answer to that question? Beth, maybe?
I don't.
No.
If this is something that is not something that needs to be done immediately, more information as it develops in Middletown, see what are they doing, how are they doing it, probably wouldn't hurt to have. And if we discover that there's a need in town, this is such a special circumstance. I don't have real problems with using town funds for time-limited, small loan to get by, because this is, we've never been here before. So not for now, but more information would be helpful.
Okay. And I think that everyone essentially had the opportunity to see the email and get their reply back.
Yeah.
Sounds good? Okay. So item number 8, we have our tax collector. And each year the tax collector is required by the state statute to present a list that he believes is uncollectible. Going forward, although the town no longer considers these outstanding, the town's tax collector office does continue to pursue payment. And so I will now introduce to you all our town tax collector.
Well, nothing bigger than that? No fanfare? No. All right. Fine. Yeah, so
I give you a nice intro.
again, I encourage you to review the list, and if anyone you want to remove, that's that's fine. I'll do that, pass the list as you find it acceptable. again, it doesn't limit our ability to collect it. It stops counting, it takes this money and stops counting it as a receivable. And I'm available for questions.
What is your date that you need this signed by?
June 30th, it has to be passed and, well, it has to be voted on. I suppose you guys could say no,
Okay,
but I have to present it by June 30th
okay.
each year.
So is there any discussion about the list that you have?
Let me just pull the list up, please.
Any questions?
It's gonna be, in order for you to see it, it'll be 2 pages long.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot that I didn't finalize this until today. So it's 53 accounts totaling just under $40,000. And that's the tax amount. There is other, obviously whatever interest these would have accrued would be collected if we were to collect them. They also, some of them are previously had been suspensed but have stayed on the grand list, and that's one of the ways that I choose who to add.
So can you hear me, Martin? I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm muted or not.
I can hear you.
I see Kim's Cottage at the top of the list. Isn't she in business in Middlefield now? Do I have the wrong bakery in mind?
No, I believe you're correct. There's the state statutes have limited number of reasons to suspense. And so I chose out of business because she's out of business in Durham. I do know where she is. I do know where her business is. I think that realistically, I can no longer expect to collect this money. I have in the past 6 months have received some money, and and we continue to apply it, but I think it's going to be, and that was all before. I don't know what kind of shape any business is in at this point, but I just think that it's reached the time. As you can see, it's a lot of years. I've left it. I've not suspensed it in the past, and we've just reached a point where suspending it, I think, is a more accurate.
She's all over this list.
Yeah, because each year. So I suspensed her since 2010 all the way up to 2018.
And Martin, the tax amount, I think I've asked you this in the past and I forgot, so please forgive me. The tax amount is the original
Correct.
tax plus the interest and penalties, correct? Or interest, or what's in that number?
It's the original tax amount.
Plus?
No, all you suspend is what was originally on the grand list.
Oh, okay.
So if for instance, that first item that's $556, if there were, $1,000 worth of interest and somebody sent me $1,000, it would go all toward the interest first. So yeah, the amount that would need to be paid to wipe out these accounts would be more, but we only need to suspense. We never plan on collecting interest. That's not a receivable.
So what you're telling me is the tax amount number that you have listed here is actually greater in your books? In your accounting, the number is bigger because you're only placing the tax amount here, which excludes the interest?
Correct. and Beth, you can help me with this as far as how the amount that's a receivable versus, I mean, we don't count on collecting specific interest. We
That's
just have,
correct.
yeah. An auditor doesn't look at it as a receivable of the town in government financing.
And this year, we've collected about $7,500 in suspense so far.
Shoot, I should have had that number here.
I have it right here.
Thank
It's
you.
Eunice. The year before, we collected 15,000, and the year before 10. So he's continually collecting suspense monies year to year.
So Martin, just out of curiosity, so when someone does pay a chunk of money in, do you use it against the oldest one, or do you use it against what they ask you to use it against? Do you have a procedure?
Yeah, by state statute, it's applied to the oldest outstanding bill interest first.
Okay.
And there's a few exceptions to that if they're with a collection agency or if it's real estate and there's a lien fee, but that's basically the way. If you owed 3 years, I would go to the oldest one and start on the interest and move forward.
Okay, all right, thanks.
So, Martin, all these motor vehicle ones, so if these cars are still on a road, they can't get registered. Is that correct?
Correct.
Even if we put them in the suspense list.
That's right. I still don't release them with DMV.
So unless they've been junked, they're sitting in someone's backyard.
And or they're out of state, or the person has lost their license and they're not worried about redoing their registration. Or most of the newest motor vehicle you would see, which there aren't a lot, they're going to be return mail, where we truly don't know where that particular person is.
Now, there's a couple that I see on here, Martin, that I'm aware that they're military. They've been deployed for a while.
Yeah, there's usually when that happens, it's that they haven't done their paperwork.
That doesn't surprise me.
You have to get active your orders from your commander, from the base commander.
Yep.
And that sort of thing. But if you were to send that to me, I'll pass it along to the assessor. There is definitely a form of paperwork that he needs from them.
And also, do you run an amnesty at all every few years or something, just to collect the tax amount?
No, there's no provision in state statutes for that. In fact, currently, though, there is a COVID-19 tax relief where we have been charging reduced interest for the months of April, May, and June. So people that have paid since April 1st have been paying a reduced interest amount. And then there's going to be, for the July 1st bills, the same 3-month window. So if people need to pay, if they have 3 cars and they pay one in July, one in August, one in September, they're going to be paying less interest than they would normally.
Okay.
I have another question. Do you ever send out Jeopardy assessments for people maybe that haven't filed, or where they haven't filed a return? So I know other states have done stuff like that. So I guess what I'm asking is, are all of these numbers based on returns that have been filed, or are any of them businesses or people that or I guess mostly businesses that we know were in business but didn't file a return, so we give them a number.
This particular list this year is heavy on the personal property.
Mhm.
And yes, each year, in case anyone doesn't know, each year there's a personal property declaration that businesses need to file with the assessor's office.
Mhm.
And like right now in May, if I were to print you a list of all the delinquent 2018 personal property bills, 90% of them, there might be 30 or 40 that aren't paid, and 30 out of the 40, 35 out of the 40 would be people that didn't file that. And so what the assessor does is assume an amount for them based on the type of business, and then puts a 25% penalty on it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the escalator that occurs is if they don't file the next year, they take that amount and put a 25% penalty on it. And that's how you end up with a bakery that has a tax bill that looks like it's a gas station.
Right.
Ah,
Right. That's you're reading my mind. That's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
okay.
And it's amazing, because that 25% penalty, when I went and researched that, it was amazing to me that, so these are, now it's one of two things. They're either on the list incorrectly, or these are business owners that are not good at doing paperwork.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
not paying their tax bill is just maybe part of that, not doing, good paperwork. And so that's how that happens.
Gotcha.
Okay. Martin, I have two questions. My first one is, what was the number last year?
Beth, do you have those three numbers I sent you? You're muted. Ah, dang it. Yeah, Beth asked the same question. I think she even said Nancy's going to want to know.
Are you kidding?
No.
She
I
knows her
asked-
stuff.
I asked. That's exactly what I said.
She knows her stuff.
Okay, so then I don't need to be at these meetings.
No.
No. 2017, he gave me 3 years.
Good.
2017 was 172,000.
Wait a minute.
No.
2017 was 172,000?
No, accounts.
Oh, counts. Okay. Sorry. 26. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm not giving you, sorry. What are you asking this number? What are you asking me for? Because there's a couple questions on here for Nancy.
Last year, right?
I'm asking this year that the number that Martin is considering
Okay. Yeah, I
taking
got
off
it.
of the tax rolls is 39,513.
Yeah.
What was it last year?
Okay, there was a total of 99, and it was 45,718.
And
And that
year
was for-
before?
And that was, wait, give me the years. That was 2018, correct?
2019.
Okay.
The year
Okay.
before that, there were 133
Uh-huh.
at 38,531.
Okay.
And the year before that was 191 at 49,942.
Okay. So it's, I don't have the calculator, but the average number, we're right about there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree.
Okay, and then my next question, Martin, is, so this $39,000, walk me through. It's going to be taken off of the grand list number, correct? It's going to come off of the grand list.
Multiple grand lists. Yes.
But I'm talking put your put my hat on your head, okay? And I'm looking at my budget sheet, okay? So we have the 2021 budget before the people. Is this 39,000 going to come off of this budget or next year's budget?
Technically last year's budget.
But how does it affect our number now?
It doesn't. It more affects Beth's audit number, her June 30th number.
So the budget sheet that's before the people, right? It's going
Right.
to have a grand list total. It's going to have a grand list number in there that is used to calculate the mill rate.
That's right.
The 39,531 is not going to come off of the grand list number in the budget sheet that's before the people right now?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's part of, well, the stuff from 2018 is part of last year's number.
Right.
And
That is part of the budget. That is part of the grand list. Yeah. Okay.
So it would have been in our, what we thought we were going to receive in past years that has not been received. Just like
That's
the
right.
the grand list number we're using for the budget right now is what we think we're going to receive. Doesn't mean we're going to get it all.
right.
Yeah. So Lori, in our world, it's bad debt expense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Got it.
Martin, I'd like to ask you one more question.
Yes, sir.
So every year you go through this and you wipe out the ones that you don't think you're going to get. So, I don't want to mention the name, but the ones that are on the top of this page, multiple years, you've left them there, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Why that? Why did that stay on the list and not get wiped out earlier?
Well, because they existed, I have a hard time. That's a very fair question, and I have a hard time with that. I have some, old motor vehicles that are 7 years old, and it's like you said, it's probably parked behind someone's garage, but I know that person still lives here, and I send them a bill, and it's hard to take it off the list if you know they actually do exist. This one is unique because of its size. It's unique because of its duration, and the final block is that they are no longer actually in town.
Right. I mean, you can't, or could you? I don't know. If you have a business in town that is not paying its taxes or slow in paying the taxes, well, no, you can't. It has to be not paying their taxes. So can you remove a business? Can you do this for a business that is still existing in town? I guess is the question, Chuck.
My real question is, did the personal property associated with this business move with the business? Probably so.
Probably so, but I do not know.
And we have no claim to it.
We do. I mean, and we have UCC liens, but it would be, it would take a level of enforcement that I have not applied to businesses up to this point. And that's fair enough. I understand that response.
I have the same question with the first one in the 2017 list. Though that business is gone, another business is there in its place.
Yes.
And that personal property probably stayed.
Right. And that's that's a different situation. That's a different that's the more common situation. When, Timeout Tavern has the same situation where the people that are there now are not the people who owe the taxes.
Right, right.
But they own the property that the taxes were due on.
Right, but you can't, I'm not the tax collector or the tax assessor, but you can't tax two people for the same property.
Right, the new owners would be charged tax from the time they took over the building.
That's
But
correct.
Right.
yeah, but you
Right.
can't go back and
And
ask
it would
someone
be
else.
hard to determine whose soup pot or stove that is.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, we'll beat this to death.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there isn't a good answer. This is people that didn't meet their obligation and who I was not successful in meeting my obligation to collect all the taxes. The bottom line on is that I am certifying that to the best of my knowledge and belief, it is uncollectible.
Right. And when do you need action by this board?
Anytime
We can
tonight
make a
is
motion
fine.
tonight.
Oh,
Because I sign it, does someone else need to make the motion?
I don't know.
I don't think by law.
No? Okay. So
I'll
then,
move I'll move that we accept the tax collector's suspense list in the amount of $39,531.59.
I'll
Second.
second that.
second. Pick one.
Pick whoever you want, Jen.
Really?
Pick whoever you like the best.
Yeah, and when
We're gonna check in the minutes who you chose.
yeah, and when we read the minutes, we'll find out who that is.
I'm going to put all of you as seconded.
Seconded by many. Covers it all.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
any other discussion on this?
Please, God, no.
All in favor would say aye.
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 Excellent, that's everyone. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martin, for all your hard work. Now we have item number 9, which is correspondence. I don't have any that I know of. Nope, okay. Move on to item number 10. We have the.
We have
go ahead.
correspondence.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
We received the Regional School District 13 budget proposal, which gave a breakout of proportioned net expenses, ECS grant, and town assessment for the town of Durham in numbers slightly different than what on our budget sheet. And I was hoping that we could adjust our budget sheet to match these and then adjust it again if the Board of Ed actually comes in with different numbers.
I wasn't prepared to do that tonight. I thought that we had made the decision that we were going to do that on the 28th.
Okay, as long as we get to do it, Beth,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
because that's about $50,000, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it'll make a difference either way in the mill rate. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were going to ask that question tonight. I knew that we both had different numbers for ECS.
Yeah, it's
I was
not
gonna
just the
ask you.
ECS, it's the proportion net expenses.
both, you're saying now. I know she's using a different ECS number too, so I wanted to wait until the 28th when we finally had that flat number.
Yeah,
Um,
ECS only, the ECS only changed by $2,000.
Right. That's why I left it alone.
It's the proportion net expenses that
Right.
changed significantly.
Can
Mhm.
we go to that? I know you brought this up last time, Chuck, and I didn't write it down. And
Okay.
I'm on the website right now. I have the proposed budget in front of me. Can you please tell me what you're discussing with the number?
Yeah, there's a page called the assessment calculations.
Or if you just go to their total budget and you take the percentage, the 66.26.
Okay.
I did take a quick look at that.
Well, I was just going to walk Nancy through where.
Okay.
she's from.
I'm on the budget sheet.
Theirs or ours?
Ours. Our
Ours.
budget sheet.
Okay, ours, the Durham share of Regional School District 13, we
Yes.
have is 22,989,706.
Yes, that's what we have currently.
In the sheet that they mailed all of us,
Yes.
they have Durham's number as 22,927,422.
Okay.
That's like 50 grand or so different.
Got it.
The ECS number changed slightly, as Beth and I just was discussing. We
Okay.
had 3,165,733.
Correct.
They have a slightly higher ECS, 3,167,068.
Very good.
Okay, so the bottom line, the net regional school district 13 changes, oh God, my eyesight's not good enough. Not from 19,823,973 to 19,760,354.
19,760.
760,354.
Okay.
And it's on the sheet that you received at your
Yeah.
house.
Yes, I know that. I just wanted to, last time that you mentioned this, I didn't go back and look at it. So I wanted to go through it with you.
Okay, so those are the three big differences. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, I guess they're gonna vote on a real budget and we'll meet again and we'll queue up to that, and Beth can do it.
When would we do that? When would we do that? After they're meeting on the 27th and then we have a meeting on the 28th. When would we do that?
That's when we're going to do it. The
On the
28th.
28th.
So that gives us a little room. Hello?
Yeah, a little room for what?
For if we
You
wanted to
did.
make any changes and not affect the mill rate.
Well, we can't do that. We had a budget hearing.
We can do,
Yes, you can. You can make
we
an
can do
adjustment.
whatever we like. We,
Oh,
HH,
you mean you could change, after a budget meeting, you can change any line item even after the presentation?
yes, we can.
That's why you have the budget hearing.
Right, I'm saying, okay, I didn't know that.
This is not a normal year, Nance.
Even if it was a normal year, we could come in and put
Yeah,
whatever.
but
we
I
want.
think she's thinking, you know, budget meeting.
Right.
But if we changed something from the budget hearing, and this is just for my education, if we change something after we had the budget hearing, do we then have to present that change that we made to the people?
No.
No,
Not based on the decision that we just got.
Even if it wasn't that way.
You can make changes after. That's why you have the budget hearing. You get to hear the public. You get to hear, board and commissions members. You come back, you review your budget again. It's another review process.
Okay. So we could add, let's say, could we add $500,000 to it?
Well, you're still looking at your mill rate. If you go in and present a mill rate, my thought process is you go in and you present a mill rate. I mean, I would not go any deeper than that.
No, I'm just asking for I understand what you would do and what you wouldn't do. I want to know technically, can you do that?
Are you talking about this year or in general?
The answer would be the same, Bob. Yes, you can.
Okay.
But I did
not know that. I did not know that.
You've done it in prior years.
Several years back, we were really
it's not typical, but this board has done it. You were on the board when they did it.
Several years back, we
ECS
we got a lot of feedback at a public hearing regarding cuts to the library. And between the public hearing and the final thing, we restored the library. I think it was wages.
Oh, yes, I recall that. Yes.
We can make changes.
Okay, yes, I do recall.
So
I do.
In a similar sense, just to put down an item for people to think about for next time, if we wanted to restore some economic development money. And I'll stop right there.
I just want everybody to know that I had John Jenkins hanging on. And it's getting late. So when you're finished with this, I just want you to know that he's waiting.
Yeah.
So are we moving on to the finance director's report
Yeah,
then?
I was going to have him speak under myself or any other business, but I'd rather let him go first.
Okay.
Johnny, are you there? Are you awake? I see you. You got to unmute.
*6.
I unmuted him. Johnny?
Am I unmuted?
No,
Yep.
you're all set now.
Okay, hold on. Let me put my earbud back in. I thought that was doing it.
Okay.
How about now?
Thank you for waiting. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was coming to you tonight to discuss Dean Natale. I'm currently anticipating potentially being underspending what was allotted for that job. I don't have an exact number for you tonight. I'm still finishing up over there. I have the aprons that Tilcon has to pave, and we're currently about halfway through backfilling, maybe a little bit less. So backfilling the curbs, that is. So what I would like to do with whatever money is left is start working on Shady Lane if that is possible. I don't know what the rules are implied around that money, but I have an immediate need now to go forward, removing some trees and potentially doing some grading. The goal with this, we're going to try to do most of the work at Shady Lane to eliminate that potential $400,000 bill you were hit with a few weeks ago. So if you have any questions, I can entertain them.
I have to walk over and get my lovely Excel sheet for the culverts.
It's not a culvert, Nancy.
It's not part of the culvert.
Right. I know that. I have my Dean Natale number on that sheet. So
yeah, it was originally, I believe, estimated at $650.
So Beth, can we get an accounting? can we get an accounting of,
I'm looking right now. I'm looking right now.
Are you looking at an accounting of what's been expended there?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up and see where we
I'm
are.
gonna go get my Excel sheet.
So, hi, John. I just want to clarify, are you saying that both jobs can be done for what Dina Talley is being, has it been allocated?
No,
or just starting?
no, I'm not saying that. I would like to take whatever money I have left at the completion of the project and move over to Shady Lane and accomplish as much as I can with what is left before we have to carry the money over and then it goes back in. I believe I can get a majority of what I need to get done potentially with what's left. I don't have an exact number, but my immediate need right now in the next few weeks is going to be to remove some trees and potentially do some grading. It's all hinging on whether or not the power company goes overhead or underground. Either way, the trees have to be removed because it'll affect the grading in the road later.
And this is not part of the tree warden budget? This is you?
No, it's not. No, because this is unanticipated.
Right, okay.
I mean, it could, I'd prefer to have this all under the realm of Shady Lane.
We appropriated a total of $650,000 for the Dina Talley project.
Yep, that's correct.
Yep. And I just received, I'm going to look really quick at, Johnny just submitted 2 invoices. 126,451. Is it just the one, Johnny?
The one, I think, for 150? Yeah.
126.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, he has only expended $30,000 out of that fund. And now we're going to take another, say, 127 out of it. So, Johnny, what are your anticipated expenses with this going forward?
What you're missing on that report is the top coat for Dina Talley, which is the final coat, and then the curbing, I believe. That curbing might have been in it, and the driveway aprons, and then the topsoil, seed, stuff like that. If I were to give you a number approximately, I believe we could be at 450 with this project, maybe 460.
So let's start from the beginning.
Well,
So
wait a minute. I mean 550. 550. Excuse me. 550.
Right. So I'm getting a new sheet of paper and I'm going to write it down. So you just said you just said $30,000. Beth has a bill. What's the $30,000 for?
Well, we don't have a full accounting now. No. I mean, he's talking about bills we haven't even received yet.
Well, you just said the 30. No. You said the 30 and the 127 are for bills that you have, Beth, correct?
I have only one
exactly.
posted, but he just talked about 3 more. So he's anticipating that this job is going to be completed at $550,000.
Right. What's the 30,000 for that you have the bill for in front of you?
So I think
it's probably for, if I were to go and break it out it was for the drainage, stone and asphalt, for asphalt disposal from digging up the roads, for under drains that were put in. Yeah, catch basin top replacements.
So stone and asphalt and under drains. Okay. What's the 127? Yeah. What was the 127 for?
Yeah. Hang on one second.
That was
hang on one second, Johnny. I think the reason why you're here though is not for Dina Talley. It's to assume that you're going to have about $100,000 left over that you want to start working on Shady Lane right now.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, the nuts and bolts of it, the accounting of everything, when I get all the bills together, I can label out where everything went. in detail if that's what you need. What I'm really here for tonight is to see if it's possible for whatever money's left over to push towards Shady Lane. Am I allowed to do that? Will you give me a blessing to do so that I can take care of the immediate needs? You were a few weeks ago giving a rough estimate from the engineers, I think in the neighborhood of $450,000. I'm going to try my darndest to keep it well under that figure as far as I can by Public Works taking on that project. So,
But
Nancy, I can do
feel
the figures with you at any point in time.
No, but it's not, it's just that no, I'm just saying that I want to make sure, you know, you're just estimating, and I really appreciate what you're trying to do very, very much. But we've all had experiences with estimates, especially with these culverts. So now I'm nervous, and I'm nervous, and I believe rightfully so, based on our experience that we've had with the culvert numbers. And I want to make sure that that you indeed
Nancy,
do have an overage.
Okay,
That's
but
all
here's
I'm
the deal.
saying.
This is not a culvert. This is the Di Natale subdivision with a full depth mill, reclaim, full depth mill, the 2 courses of asphalt, the curbing, the asphalt, the backfill, and the underdrain. Okay, so I have pretty good knowledge based on the amount of asphalt that we use for the first coat on Di Natale, that it's a similar number for the second coat. Now, the only one that's out in the wind, but I've been back and forth with a manager that's running this job for the financial end of it, and he believes we're at the 440 mark, and that it could be a little bit fat. All right. That's why I cannot. $540,000. I keep getting screwed up because that $540,000 mark, and that would include what I have done too as far as underdrains. Now, we had some unanticipated underdrains that we had to add once we opened up that road, but we can go over that at another date if we need to. But I believe we should be at 550 when we're done with this. A very close number.
John, I have another question for you.
I have a quick question, John. What was the one we were going to do? It's up by Tri-Mountain Road.
Seward.
Seward. Has that been done?
Yes.
It
No.
has.
It has not been done.
That's
The
a culvert.
emergency repair that's a culvert. That's
Different.
separate.
Is there anything that prevents us from saying he can use the money for another project that's coming online?
Well, what is the scope of the project does this mean we're committing to fully doing Shady Lane? I thought that's been in discussion with our board, how in depth we want this or need this.
The deal with Shady Lane, but remember, Shady Lane is a town road. It's an unimproved town road.
Unimproved town road, correct.
And what is Seward? Seward, John? What is Seward Road?
Oh God. Seward Road is another unimproved town road that we had a pipe collapse on it, and we have a secondary pipe there that's ready to collapse.
Right. So
we have budgeted money to do that project within the culvert projects.
correct.
That's separate from that's totally separate from where I'm going tonight.
Right. Right. But you are saying.
So the scope of Shady Lane, so let's focus on Shady Lane right now, because what we have to do is get the power trench up the left side of that road for the homeowner that has a building permit that is going to be looking for a CO in the next month or so, maybe even sooner. And to facilitate that, I need to remove the trees and potentially do some grading to allow this to happen. Currently, I have no funds allocated anywhere to do this job. That's why I'm looking for the ability to carry whatever I can once every bill is paid for, Nancy, to assure us that we have no outstanding debt towards Di Natale, that money be moved over to Shady Lane.
And when this building permit was issued, was this
Okay,
discussed
bear in
at
mind,
all with you?
So remember, I take care of the road once it's done, and I'm privy to what needs to be done to make it a full-fledged road when need be. But remember, that was a road, I didn't even know Shady Lane existed as a town road till a few months ago,
Right.
to be honest with you.
Yep.
The only thing I was told, I think it was put up to be abandoned 6 months ago, potentially, at one of the meetings, and it was voted down. I don't know. I mean, right now, we have a homeowner up there that has a building permit, like I talked about, that we need to get a power trench up to. Not us, CLMP has to do it, but I need to facilitate making sure the grading's at the right level for when we go in and put the road in, and I have to remove the trees.
So, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, Molly.
No, I was just saying, if we don't have this, if the accommodations aren't made so that you can get the power up to this, this person, are we liable for any sort of building delay he experiences? I mean, are we on the hook for this?
No, that's at a higher level than me. That would be up to the attorneys and first selectmen to determine that. I mean,
we have to do this because it is a town road and we have to do the stuff around the town road. So this really speaks to a different issue, which is approving or removing town roads that that we don't do it in such a whimsical way as we've done it in the past. I say that it needs to be done. It's going to be done. We can save ourselves some money if we do it now. And if you think that you have funds that will be surplus, I think it's more than reasonable to apply it to getting on with Shady Lane.
So here's my question.
May I speak?
Sure, go ahead.
Please. I respect your thought, Molly, and my battery is low.
Yeah.
Okay. But we have had many discussions regarding the culverts, and I understand what you're saying, John. You have a different issue before you. I totally understand where you're coming from. The homeowner is probably knocking on the selectman door saying, I need my I need my CO. And I understand that. But
right now he's looking for power.
Right. And just allow me to finish. We've had many discussions regarding the budgeting of these culverts. We have Haddam Quarter Road at 200% above budget. Cream Pot Road, 74% above budget. We have talked about using other numbers, other projects that were coming under, to fund those over projects. And now what you're asking is, can you take this number that we were hoping to smooth over the overages to take it somewhere else? And now I don't think we can do that.
But Nancy, where are you going to get the money for the unanticipated project?
Well, we're going to have to discuss undesignated fund. We cannot take it from here because we have discussed multiple times. In my opinion, we cannot take it from here. We have discussed multiple times that any underage, and Beth, we've had this discussion with Beth many times, that's what she said, hang on to let's wait for the final numbers. Some are over, some are under, and it's not going to be that bad. That's how I was left. That's how I was left the last discussion that we had on these culverts.
Okay, I just want to make one point. This is separate from the culverts. I completely understand what you're saying, Nancy. I get it. And I get, your hesitation to do it. I just want to make one note, is that you're talking about taking money out of designated funds now, potentially, to get this work done before July 1, where he's going to have some funds to allow him to work in the new fiscal year. If he does have $100,000 in funds for Dean Natale at 6:30, then that's going to drop off into the general fund. Or he's going to request to carry it over.
Right, but we're still, my last discussion I think we had was that you were working on getting us these final numbers for the culverts, because a lot of, you did say that 2 of them have been completed and you have the numbers now.
I don't, it's not 6:30 yet. I don't, they have not gone out yet since my last discussion. They haven't finished up their Johnny, what is
Their
it called?
punch list.
The punch list.
They're
working
doing their
on it,
punch list
and-
because
Yeah.
those projects, Nancy, were finished up right before Christmas. A lot of them needed to be reseeded, and certain things that they couldn't finish in the winter completed. I've been back and forth with several emails on both Cream Pot, Indian Lane, and Higginham Road.
Well, see, in Higginham
you're
Road,
saying-
was
so
a
what
huge
you're-
grant,
what
and I
you-
still don't have numbers for that.
So what you folks are saying tonight is, after we reconcile Cream Pot, Indian Road, Seward Road, Bear Rock, Haddam Quarter, and Dean Natale, we're going to still have $100,000 left over that we can use for Shady Lane. That's what you're saying this evening, correct?
I don't understand why you're putting Dean Natale in with the culverts.
Because
Dean
that's
Natale
what we
never
put-
got.
That's what we
Natale's was
had.
not part of the bond.
Dean Natale was part of the bond.
No, it is not part of the bond.
I remember it being on the question when I went to vote.
Understand. No, Dean Natale was taken out of the bond because the town had put away $650,000.
$495. No, the town put aside $495 and $155 came from the bond.
No, it did not. It was
That's
taken
what I
out.
had. I've been emailing you this sheet for
No.
a year.
Okay. Dean Natale is not part of the bond. It was taken out because of the amount of reserve funds that we had. There was language put into, remember, there was language that was put into the bond resolution that stated we had to net out all these funds. So the numbers did not work at the end. Dean Natale was taken out, and there was a new resolution passed by the Board of Selectmen to take it off. It is not part of the culvert project.
And
I think that you will recall it if you.
I will have to go back, and you'll have
Yeah.
to tell me when that resolution was made by the Board of Selectmen. I'll go back and read it. And, but again, as far as diverting funds from the culverts or Dean Natale, I mean, I would have to go back and read it.
What do we want to do tonight about this?
Johnny,
Yes. Yes.
what are the implications to the town to not do this work until July 1 when you have new funds?
It's my implications from my end is I'm not going to have any funds to take the trees down or do the grading, which in turn is going to hold off on the power company acting and putting in power to that location.
So if the Board of Finance decides that they do not want to reallocate an approximate number from Dean Natale to Shady Lane, I think that you all need to decide whether or not you're going to fund Johnny now for, in some other way, or wait until July 1 and the implications of that.
So let me now make a suggestion.
I mean,
I don't understand how we can fund something when we don't have exact numbers. What are the exact numbers that Shady Lane is, what's the exact cost of Shady Lane? And what are the exact numbers that we're gonna transfer over from Di Natale? I don't understand how we can even do this.
Okay, may I make a suggestion? I understand your concern, and that's the accountant speaking, and you're correct. But what John is telling us is that he's going to have approximately $100,000 left over on Di Natale. I believe that's correct. He's going to be underrunning his budget. So that money is going to fall, if we don't do anything else, that money's going to fall into the undesignated fund balance. Is that correct, Beth?
Or he can request a carryover
Okay.
and a reappropriation at the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
And
Let
we
me finish, please.
yes,
So if it falls into the, assuming it falls into the undesignated fund balance, we can solve John's problem tonight by making a motion to take money from the undesignated fund balance now to give him money to work to start on Shady Lane.
You could.
that I would support.
Yes, you could.
Let's
And
do
but we
that
have to
then.
do that. We have to do that at a town meeting. And the governor said at our town meeting that we can only nominate the Board of Ed or whoever we have are the officials to be nominated, and we can conduct no other business.
Well,
So there's
doesn't
another
that
town
money
meeting.
have to get a, so I have a question. So if we were to go that route and you guys approve that motion tonight, then it has to go to the Board of Selectmen to approve it?
Has to go to town meeting.
Well, first it has to go.
No, I believe,
Yeah.
so it'd have to go to the Board of Selectmen, and then it would have to go to town meeting, and we'd almost be to July 1st for that, I would guess.
Yes, all right, so my idea doesn't work, okay.
Okay. I think we're okay to do it now. I really do. I believe your estimates are correct, and we should get on with it.
Well, we can make a motion and take a vote.
What would the motion be?
Oh,
Motion
Molly?
to reappropriate an approximate amount of money from CIP projects Di Natale to CIP Shady Lane. Or,
get that?
yes. Well, I'm making giving you an option.
Yeah.
It's
Under your purview, thank you, yes.
Yes, the money is sitting in right now. It's sitting in capital project Di Natale. So you'd have to take whatever amount you feel you're comfortable with and reappropriate that money into another capital account for Shady Lane.
And we can do this without having to go to town meeting if we do it as a motion in this board tonight, yes?
Molly,
Because it's more than the dollar threshold, so.
this money has been appropriated. Let's think this through here. It's late.
I know.
The money has been appropriated through the budget process
Mm-hmm.
for the Di Natale project. So my thought would be that it would be okay to do it. It's already been approved. You're just moving it to another project. If you're not comfortable with that, we would maybe have to reconvene a meeting and make sure of that.
And that went into a reserve account, correct?
No, it's sitting in capital right now.
Okay. And you're saying that it's acceptable to transfer out of capital an estimated amount, even though you don't have the exact number for the project that the money was originally appropriated for?
Sorry, I don't really get what you're saying. Say it again.
I'll say it again.
Under 20K, okay.
So what I'm saying, Beth, is this. You think it's okay, you think it's acceptable.
All right, I get what you're saying. I said, I don't know.
No,
What
you asked me, you asked me to repeat myself because you didn't quite understand.
I get what you're saying now.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. And what I'm saying is I do feel confident that the $650,000 went through 3 budget cycles. So I know it was approved through the budget. What I'm saying is that if you want to be very, very clear and very sure, this is going to be the first time that I've been asked to do this in that large amount of money, that we can call for a special meeting. I can get clarification on this, so we know that we're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
And we can call a special meeting and have the discussion then.
And when you're getting the information, Beth, could you also ask if it's acceptable to estimate the project before the numbers have actually come in, and in your estimation or John's estimation, then that overage number is considered. Do you see what I'm saying? We don't actually, my point is that we don't actually have the exact overage number. Is it acceptable to move money around based on an estimate?
Well, I think that you've probably done that in the past,
Yeah.
you know, many times based on Johnny having these conversations with you. I think it's just a large dollar amount, and unfortunately, circumstances that we went through with the culverts, and I completely understand that, Nancy. I do. So
all right, can I ask one question here?
Sure, go ahead,
Can
John.
I ask a question?
Sure.
All right.
Molly,
So
can you
just the
mute?
immediate.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Hello. All right, Nancy, is it possible to set a dollar amount not to exceed $20,000 so I can at least get the trees done and grading I need to do?
Yes.
I don't know, John. I don't know the answer to that.
Procedurally,
Here's another option.
No.
Yeah.
No, procedurally, yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
procedurally, he's asking.
Because it will give me time to do 2 things. I can finish out Di Natale with exact numbers. It'll allow me to do the tree work that I need to get done and potential grading. Or, and I know it's late, as a third option, can I overexpend a line item within my budget to accomplish such a thing?
I don't know the answer to that.
Johnny.
What?
You're killing me.
I know.
I know, huh? You're thinking at every avenue.
Well, you know what the problem is? Well, herein lies the problem. This isn't like we can get together all the time and do this.
I understand. I'm just busting your chops.
And we're getting to the point where it's the end of May theoretically, and from I know the process. You know, it goes to the Board of Selectmen, it goes to the town meeting for the vote. I mean, that's a month cycle. You know.
So if you're looking for funds under $20,000, there's roughly $40,000 in contingency at this point. It's another option.
Well, and again, all right. So if we could set a number at 20,000, I think I'm comfortable with what I need to do to facilitate getting this guy power up to his house right now.
Do that.
Yeah.
So we need a motion. I'm going to try and make it.
Oh, good.
Just help me out here. So I move that we take $20,000 from undesignated fund balance.
I don't know that,
For the purpose of beginning construction, excuse me, of capital improvement project Shady Lane.
Second?
Any other discussion?
can we take money out of designated fund, no matter the amount, without a meeting? Without
Under
a
20,
town
we
meeting?
can.
Under what?
Under 20, we can.
Out of undesignated, correct?
Well, I said contingency, but we can go either
No,
way.
No,
I think
you did say undesignated.
you
Oh,
said
okay.
undesignated.
Okay, that's fine.
What's fine?
Undesignated fund balance, that's even better.
Can we do that, Beth?
Yes, you can. Under $20,000.
So in the chat, there's a suggestion that we need to make it 19,999.
That's what I was just looking for.
Well, Chuck's motion was what, for how much?
For 20. So will you accept an amended motion to make it 19,999 so we're under the $20,000 threshold and we can vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
And John, tell me, we're still in discussion. Just repeat to me, why do we have to do this now?
Well, again, the question that was asked to me earlier about liability, I believe we are on the hook for this. And if we do delay this guy with getting into his house, then we could have repercussions to this. Now, that's my unattorney educated opinion on this. Did I answer your question, Nancy?
Yes, thank you.
Any other discussion?
Okay, hold on. I just want you to know it's section 5.1.9.
Okay.
Charter, special appropriations. The Board of Finance, on request by town agencies or officials, may make special appropriations from surplus revenue or from an improved contingency fund. Special appropriation in excess of $20,000. In excess of $20,000 shall require approval by a vote of town meeting.
So
Not more than one special appropriation for any town agency, official, or any department may be made by the Board of Finance in each fiscal year without approval of town meeting. So Johnny, have you come before this board for an appropriation over $20,000 this year that was outside your budget?
I don't believe so.
I don't either, but I just want to double check. Okay, so you can make you can make that appropriation if it's in excess of $20,000. So just know that you didn't have to do the 19,999.
So is so Beth, is surplus revenue, says surplus revenue from an approved contingency fund.
Yes,
So,
it could come out of undesignated fund balance or contingency.
okay.
And $20,000 gets you as far as get you significant progress on this?
yeah, I will get what I need to get done to facilitate the power of this.
Okay.
And then as soon as I wrap up being a tally, should I come back if I have more that
Yeah.
I can do? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
by that time, I mean, the budget, I think, is gonna pass.
You're going to have
But Nancy, remember, Nancy, the budget for that subdivision, meaning the budget for Shady Lane's in reserve. So again, after July 1st, you're talking the middle to end of August before that dollar amount that I think you put away was 150.
Mhm.
Right,
Would be
you'll have
out-
that,
Would be, that's not in capital, that's in reserve for Shady Lane.
So you're going to have to come back.
No, it's in capital.
it's in capital,
It isn't,
Ah,
all right, then never mind.
right, so you'll have that money. So if the
Okay.
budget passes, Beth, if the budget passes, right, he still has to wait till July, okay.
Yeah, and Johnny, offline,
So,
if we get
but-
together and take a look at this budget?
Yes.
Okay.
So Molly,
today,
do you
right?
mind if we go back to 20,000?
yes, we can go back to 20,000. I rescind my,
No, I know where you were going with that. It's cool.
I rescind my request for an amended motion. So Robert's Rules of Order are satisfied, and we have the right dollar figure, and we're
We
right.
don't have to abide by that, Molly. We made that very clear.
So,
Okay, so then all in favor of Chuck's original motion would say aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
thank God.
None opposed. The motion passes. Thank you,
normally
Beth,
I'm the one who
for
says
all
that.
of your research and guidance. Okay.
I
Thank
just
you.
have one thing. Yeah, I just
Thank
wanna
you,
go through that.
John.
Was it
Hey,
worth the
John.
wait, John?
What's that?
I said, was it worth the wait? I think our meetings are very
No,
entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, what else? It's all good.
You get to pay for it in your own way. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay. Number 10, Finance Director Report.
You all received the engagement letter. I'm going to throw it up really quickly. It's common and customary that we do this every year so I can start the audit process.
Yep.
So I just need a motion for you to accept it, and I'm going to need your signature, Bob.
Okay, so I make a motion to authorize Seward and Mond to be the auditor for the services for the town of Durham for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2020.
Second.
Thank you.
Want to get a Republican since he's a Democrat.
I had to make sure I was off of mute.
Everybody's jealous of us, you know.
Are we in
All right.
discussion yet? Are we in
No,
discussion?
this is discussion. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, before we vote, Beth, can you turn to page 8 of that report, or this,
The engagement letter?
yes, please, page 8. And the top, it says, further, you agree to oversee the non-audit services by designating an individual, preferably from senior management, with suitable skill, knowledge, or experience, evaluate the adequacy and results of those services, and accept responsibility for them. That's obviously you, right, Beth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And I actually I was on a conference call with them today, trying to work out how we're going to do this audit remotely.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I'm hopefully going to be starting it much sooner this year than later.
Okay.
The first
One-
part, anyways.
One more question on page 3, paragraph 2, last sentence.
Hold on. Paragraph 2, last sentence.
Last
Yes.
sentence. We will issue written reports upon completion of our single audit. Our reports will be addressed to the honorable members of the Board of Finance and Management. Did we get these reports last year?
We didn't have a state audit last year.
The last
Okay,
time we had an audit, we did, but
We will this year, though.
so
Because-
you're gonna get reports from them, and then you are gonna send them over to the Board of Finance.
They will come within the audit. I'm not seeing where you're looking. Page
Yeah,
3,
we get it every year from the auditors.
yeah.
a state single audit?
No,
No,
preliminary.
just the preliminary audit and then the final to review, not the state audit. Whatever.
Yeah, we have that big Hingham Road grant this year, so we'll be doing that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Lori, that's my question, dear. Are the reports that they're talking about in here, is that separate than the audit? I know we get the draft audit,
No,
but
no,
are reports different?
it would be part of the audit. You would see it. It would be part of the audit document.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I think you're unfamiliar with it. I have not had one of those since I've been in this position.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure of that answer. So, okay. I know what you're saying now, Nance.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor of the motion would say aye.
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 Unmuted, aye.
I think the only one I didn't catch, Molly. Aye, okay. So all in favor? Yep, motion passes. Okay. Okay, discussion regarding the fiscal year.
I'll table
2020.
it.
We want to wait.
Because I think I think this is going to be a good discussion, and I don't
Yeah.
want to rush it.
I
And
agree.
not be so late.
That's a
So
good-
I'd rather table it and put it back on when everybody's more comfortable talking about it.
Good move. Okay. Okay, we don't have any other business that I'm aware of. We'll now open up for public comment.
Bob, I have a quick question, just a point of clarification. When you approved the minutes at the beginning of the meeting, I think it was the last minutes that you approved, I think it was May 11th. I was not sure how that vote was tallied. I believe you had 3 members abstain and 3 members vote in the affirmative.
Oh, yeah, I think it was for May 14th.
Ben?
I think that they did so because they weren't present, right?
Yep.
But the question is, how was it tallied? Did you pass the motion?
Oh.
Approve the minutes?
Oh, you're saying, George, because it was a tie score, kind of?
Yeah, there was not a majority.
Oh.
These were the minutes for 5/11 that were not online yet.
No, I think it was 5/14, but
Oh,
But the abstentions don't count toward whether or not a motion passes.
That's my question. I think it's based on who votes, and if you're abstaining, you're technically voting not to vote.
Correct.
Oh.
So you need, I think, and this is, again, if you're not running by Robert's rules, I'm not sure what rules you're running by, but it's based on the number of people present, the number of people voting, and you're normally looking at what a quorum indication is. And most motions don't pass with 1 or 2 votes in the affirmative or even 3. just a point of clarification. I'm not really sure how you
Yeah,
calculate that.
Well, then we should find the answer to that, because simply because someone isn't present and abstains.
Can you, Jen, do you
And
know
actually,
what the vote
you know
was?
what?
Which one are we,
Well,
which meeting are we talking about?
Hold on.
14th.
Here's just a general question. That has been a practice that the board has taken, that in the event that someone has not been present for a meeting, they've abstained from approving the minutes. My question about that is that if the minutes are posted and the board members reviewed them and is comfortable with the decisions that were made, they only can, I don't know why that is, that you can't vote in favor of approving the minutes. You have to be present at the meeting in order to approve the minutes. Why has that been done? Anyway. Does anyone have the answer to that? People think that because they're not at the meeting, they can't approve the minutes for that meeting. I've never seen that before in any board I've ever been on. Do we know why that is?
I do not know that answer.
I do not think that's a correct assumption.
And
What do you mean?
it has been
People are-
practiced in boards that I've been on before. If you haven't been present, then to indicate that you didn't vote in the affirmative, if it's, majority of folks are voting in the affirmative, you are saying that you are not voting because you were not there. Can't attest to the meeting minutes accuracy because you weren't there to contribute or review.
correct. That's how I understood it.
I'm able to catch up and keep up with what's going on if I read the minutes, but I can't attest to what the conversation was.
I
But-
agree with you, Molly.
Let me ask you a question though. So we're talking about the meeting from May 11th, correct?
And I wasn't there, and I didn't vote to approve those minutes because I wasn't there.
Correct. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Was that a meeting? Or was that a webinar presentation? It's listed on here as Board of Finance Annual Budget Hearing.
Oh,
It's not listed as a meeting.
so that's, yeah.
Right. If you did not have a quorum, you could not have held a meeting. You
Correct.
can have minutes. The other time that a person could vote is if, in this case, if it's recorded and you're able
Able to review it.
review the entire meeting and the minutes, then it would be acceptable to vote. But the scenario you have to think about, Bob, is if you were to have 4 members there and 2 voted to not approve the minutes and 2 voted to approve because of some dispute, would you want a 5th person who was not present to vote along whatever lines they might and approve it if they had no firsthand knowledge of the meeting? And that's why you would typically recuse yourself if you did not have firsthand knowledge.
That makes sense then for a regular meeting. But my question is, the annual budget hearing, is that in fact a Board of Finance meeting? Do we even have to submit that
I don't think so.
as minutes that are approved?
I don't know.
There weren't any motions made. It was a presentation. There wasn't a call to order. There wasn't any items brought up for vote. It was a webinar presentation. It was a hearing. It was not a meeting.
Correct.
So being in the spot that we're in right now, if we didn't get a, what to?
I wanted to know who voted, there should have been a 2 and 2.
For what date?
Bob, Chuck, Lori, and Nancy on 5/14. They were in attendance. So what was the vote on 5/14? on the minutes, Jen? Do you know?
For May 14th, Chuck abstained, I thought, because he
Yes.
didn't have a chance to review the minutes.
Okay, what about Bob, Lori, and
And
Nancy?
then Molly and Caroline were not there.
Right,
So
so
we
they
They
abstained,
abstained.
right.
That's what I have for May 14th.
So I think that you have 3 ayes
And
One
3
nay.
abstains for May
and
14th.
2 abstains.
Wait, who's the nay?
Chuck,
Oh, I thought he
What?
abstained.
He
I
abstained.
abstained.
oh, you abstained?
But I have.
Yes,
Yes. Originally he said he wasn't going to support it, and then when we did the vote, he abstained from voting.
And you abstained because you want to further look at them?
yeah, I hadn't read it, that's all.
Okay, then that's fine. So why don't we just table that and bring it back after he reads them? And see if he wants any amendments, changes, additions, whatever.
As far as I'm concerned, they passed. It was 3
3 in the affirmative.
of the affirmative, no negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think
I don't know.
but that's not a majority vote of the group. There's 6 of us, so you need to have at least 4. So I think the answer is we have to table the May 14th minutes
Oh.
approval and look at them next time we have a meeting.
Correct.
And now the pressure's on you, Chuck, because you're the only one who can break this. You have to review and be ready to go.
514? Oh, I just found them. I approve them.
I'm going to bed. Good night.
Yeah, really, kids.
I will put them on the next meeting.
We'll put them on. But again, let's put on discussion about May 11th as well,
Okay, yeah.
whether or not that really is
Oh, okay.
theoretically a
I
meeting.
will look into that.
Okay. Is there any other public comment?
Yeah, Rick Parmley.
Mhm.
Am I on, Chuck? Bob?
Yes,
You are.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Some very interesting comments and discussions this evening. With regards to the proposed budget, I remain opposed. I don't believe it reflects the times we're in and the times going forward. But getting away from that and going down to the Shady Lane proposal, if there's no engineering has been done, if there's going to be engineering later and the grade is changed from what it is now, if the power company goes in there now and just follows what's there and goes to 30 inches, which is the general code for burying the lines, and the grade changes, they may be out of the ground later. Or if they go too deep and the engineering has drainage in there, there's going to be a conflict. So those are my comments on that proposal. It's a good idea. John is doing the right thing to take the trees down, but if that power line goes in without engineering and we change the grade in any way, shape, or form, those power lines may be in our way. They may be out of the ground, they may be in the way of the drainage. But thank you. I'm going to mute.
Okay.
Any other public
Can
comment?
Can I quickly answer Rick's question?
Yeah, public comment.
You're still here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still here. Well, I just, in case this came up, I will be following a engineering grade plan that's been put in place and reviewed by both Eversource and our town engineer. So just so Rick understands that it's going to be set accordingly. That's why I'm trying to get on this and get it squared away. That's all.
Please be done.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Molly, did you want to make a motion?
To adjourn, perhaps? I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry for such a crazy meeting.
Good night.
The
Best
best.
free entertainment you'll ever get.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Good night.